Hey guys, how's it going and welcome back. Well, I thought I'd save you the pain of an unboxing. I saw one today and I'm like, this is a first look. All you did was unbox it. Okay. Anyway, so this is going to be probably the second video on all of YouTube because I can't find any more yet. But anyways, this is the LG Ultra HD 4K display. It's the model 27UP600. So we have 27 inches of screen real estate here at 4K, which, it's weird, man. I'm used to my 32-inch 2K display, and it's like, this is so much smaller. And I'm like, oh, but it's such a pretty picture. And it has this HDR mode dealy thing that enhances your color palettes, and, you know, it jacks your brightness right up, too. So, if you need that, well, you know, I can manually adjust my brightness. I actually turned the brightness down a little bit. I found it was too bright. Now, even though it's only got 400 nits of brightness, it's pretty bright. I picked this up over at Staples today in North Bay. I actually was hunting for a 4K monitor. I was hoping to find a curved one, but good luck. Nobody's got any of those in stock, and I'm not waiting to order one and have it, you know, shipped to me kind of thing whenever. I did find another LG display identical to mine at Walmart for $400, and I told the guy, I says, that's what I paid you for mine, and this one's got higher hertz. Now mine's a 144 hertz, my 2K display. This one was like 167. It's like, that's not much of a gain, and you know, they're both like 1 millisecond, so what am I really gaining? Nothing. You know, a couple of hertz is not gonna make it or break it. You know, I do have an extremely high performance PC, and nothing seems to bog this thing down. Now, there is a drawback to the 4K revolution here. You're only going to get 60 hertz out of this particular one, but for 370 bucks on sale, it's like $100 off. I thought, you know what, I'll give it a try and I'll see. I do agree that a higher refresh rate is definitely a good thing to have, but at 60 hertz, this thing is actually still performing extremely well, which has been quite surprising. Now, my Mac Mini is also attached to this. We're going to show you that too. And the Mac Mini, it caps out at 75 hertz. And I know this from my 2K display because it's a 144, and when I check the hertz refresh rate on my Mini, it only does up to 75, which is, you know, pretty common, and I'm okay with that. I get 60 hertz on the Mini with this. I get 60 hertz on my PC. My PC is using the display port, and I'm using one of the two HDMI ports. So even with this display, you can still hook up 3 computers to it at the same time. I am scared to death to hook up my 2006 Mac Mini, but I am going to give it a shot, because that thing does not really have much video RAM, and I'm kind of curious to see what kind of resolutions it'll pull, or if it'll just fry my chip on board. We're not sure what's going to happen, but we'll give it a go eventually. But in the meantime, I wanted to go through a couple of games real quick. Now, you guys know my favorite game of all time is what? Far Cry, the original. And I played this in 5K Retina on my late 2015 iMac that I had, running Windows 10 on that computer, and it's like, that is so amazing for graphics, like, you know, because PCs can't do 5K, not real 5K on a real 5K display. So, you know, it's kind of like, well, I wonder what this can be like in 4K. And so anyways, part of course, having this display and getting the drivers in is every single game had to be recalibrated for the new display so they can set up the game properly. So anyways, we are definitely at our 4K resolution in 32-bit. Everything is cranked right to the hilt graphics wise, as high as anything can go. So anyways, let's just go into my game here. Where do we want to start? Well, I'll start here. And you know, I gotta tell you, I am super impressed with 4K on the PC. The only you know, experience I've had with, you know, anything above 2K on a PC before has only been by running Windows 10 on the Mac. because I have the resolutions, I can play the games, you know, and it's perfectly fine. And even on the Mac on Windows 10, I was still at, you know, limited at, you know, 65 or 75 hertz, depending on the Mac. But this is just right nice. Like, this is beautiful graphics. It's kind of like being on my iMac on 5K, except this is 4K, and the trees, everything looks so incredibly nice, you know. So I am definitely impressed. The 60 hertz doesn't seem to be bothering this thing at all. So that's actually a good point. Now, there is obviously a noticeable difference between 4 and 5K that I would like to discuss, especially in this game, because I have played it in 5K, like I said, on the Mac, because you can't do it on the PC. And that's when it comes to the dashboard clarity. That's one big thing. So, it is a lot cleaner and more real looking at 5K level, but at 4K, this is definitely like phenomenal difference. Like, even looking at these guys, the realisticness of them, that's really good. You know, like that's pretty impressive. I got gore turned on. I love gore. Little psycho. But yeah, like, look at even I guess this is bamboo trees. That is really nice. So that's pretty impressive. I'm really good with that. So that's definitely a big plus here. A game like, well, let's try, well, I got Far Cry 2, but that takes a while to load in comparison. Cyberpunk, I haven't tried Cyberpunk yet. I actually got to fire that one out. Let's go to Fallout 3. Now this thing keeps barking at me, and it's like, yeah, whatever, it still plays the game. So I've got this one cranked right to the hilt. Now, there will be some games that when you want to crank the resolution up, you're not going to get a full screen, because it's just the way the game happens to work. Like, for example, Unreal Tournament, you are limited to top-end 1080p, right? So you may or may not get a complete full screen, which is not a big deal, but what you do get is more than 3/4 of the screen, which is more than sufficient for playing the game. And the graphics are so tight. It's like incredible. So anyway, so with this one here, this is Fallout 3. And you know, it's really good. Like, that's pretty impressive. Like I said, I've been playing this on 2K on my 32-inch, and it's like, wow, that's really nice. But the 4K, definitely a big improvement. You know, like, that's pretty nice improvement. So I'm liking the monitor, you know. Like I said, it's just, it doesn't sit up as high as my other one, because I can adjust the height, and it's definitely nowhere near as wide, because my other one, like I said, it's 32, so it does take getting used to. So if you're used to a bigger screen physically at below 4K, so you're running 2K, when you go to this in 4K at 27, it's kind of like, this is a little different, this is a little weird. Minecraft, actually, that's another game that I found was really nice to have this, being able to go on this. The clarity is beautiful, you know, no issues with it, and it's not lagging out on me, so that's a good thing. I haven't noticed any kind of fuzzy problems or anything like that, even at 60 hertz. You know, but like I said, I do have a PC that is definitely on major steroids. So it doesn't seem to have any issues whatsoever. But I do like what it does for the PC being on 4K. It's too bad PCs can't run 5K for real. You know, that would be so much more an improvement. So the draw rendering rate is actually incredibly good on this thing. You know, that's just like, boom, that's nice. Oh, that's actually one of the spots I was building on. Yay, I can get back to what I was doing. But yeah, like, just the block, the smoothness in the blocks, so much more enhanced than 2K. The overall clarity of this screen, compared to my 2K LG, it's night and day. It's like so much nicer on this one. But you know, if you want to get something in a higher hertz scale though on 4K, it is definitely going to cost you like big bucks. You know, so you got to kind of decide, well, you know, is there a better solution out there that's not going to break my wallet apart? And yes, this one definitely seems to be doing really good. And like I said, I've been playing Fallout among other games. So I don't have as great a selection of games on the Mac. But let's go to Minecraft on the Mac side. So this is my M1 Mini. Now we know that there's been issues, of course, with M1s and playing games. And some games are big hogs, like Minecraft. I mean, it takes a while for this thing to load. And it's like, is this thing ever going to load? Like, you know, but it's running under Rosetta 2, and now it's also got to force itself into a much higher graphic level than what it's used to. So it does take a little bit longer to load because of Rosetta. So I'm hoping that Minecraft, the company, Mojang, whatever, gets their act together and accelerates this game for M1, because I think it would be like totally mental if they did. It would be really good, you know. But it still plays either well, just the way it is. So this is a world that I had built a while back, and this one's actually pretty demanding. I've got the specs turned up for how the chunks and all that other stuff, but either way, so this is kind of what we can expect with the draw rates when you overcrank your settings video wise. So that's a little bit slower for the rendering, but it's doing it, you know. So it's not entirely bad, you know. But like once you get into the nitty gritties of stuff and start pounding stuff, it's actually quite nice. So I mean, it's not lagging or anything, you know. So that's my little freaked out world that's definitely got some issues. I've really cranked the settings a little too high. So let's try my other world I created earlier. I was showing my wife this on 4K, and I'm like, hey, you want to see what Minecraft's like on a 4K display? She's like, yeah. Now this draws fast, because I left things at the 12 chunk level and stuff. If you go into your video settings here, rendering distance is 12, simulation distance is 12, frame rate is at 120, you know, but everything else is like cranked right up too, right? And it's running quite nice, you know, with those settings. So I figured, well, maybe I'm going to have to squeak back the settings a little bit at least on my other world, because otherwise I'm going to continue to have some problems. So if we go into this world, we'll see what I still got to maybe do with this one. So if we go options in here, video settings, 1212. So those are down. Chunk builder, that I can't remember what if I did anything with that. Entity shadows, distortion effects. Yeah, that's 100%. So cogs are fancy. And I have no packs installed in this. So that's almost the identical settings, but it is a different size of world too, so it does take a lot more rendering for this one. So I did actually reset, so it's actually just the world that I built. It's how many level blocks you get to until you get to the bottom of the earth and go, wah! Kind of thing, right? As far as other games go, basic game, motorbike. I mean, motorbike's a cool game. It's fun, it's kind of somewhat mindless type of game like Tetris, you know. but it's also very challenging at the same time. And the one thing I did notice, when I was running this on the M1 with the 2K display, I actually had to turn on the faster graphics rendering to avoid a little bit of blur, because if you looked at the driver, he had a bit of a static blur to him, and it's kind of like, that's not good, you know. But on this display, it straightens it right out. It's like absolutely flawless. Yeah, we're not getting through there. Island Racer, believe it or not, Island Racer feels a little bit more controllable, which is kind of weird. I mean, we've doubled our resolution, but we've lost a lot of that hertz, right? Well, not much. I mean, 75 to 60. I mean, you know, you're talking 15 hertz, but for 15 hertz less, this game is actually running a little bit smoother. Unreal Tournament running way smoother. You know, so that's a good sign. So sometimes, you know, realistically, guys, you may not want the higher refresh rate in certain circumstances. It's kind of a thing where games, some of them work fine with, you know, higher refresh, other ones not so good. It depends on the game, I guess, you know, because it can be a little picky that way. Marathon is still running fantastic even on this display. So I have no issues there at all. Now, when you come into, you know, looking at programs like Logic Pro, of course, you know, we get a lot of screen real estate with the 27 at 4K because your resolution is much tighter and things are shrunken down more, which, I mean, I used to have a bigger list physically in text, and it's like, I'm going to have to get a magnifying glass there just to see what the heck I'm reading, because this is not very cool. Yeah. So anyways, but you can reset stuff, not a big deal. You know, you go into your display panel and, you know, you can make things a little bit larger with your icons. You know, not a huge thing, but when you do that, you change your resolution. You know, say from 4K down to 2K, and it's like, yeah, but I want the 4K experience for real, man. I just can't let go. You know, so you got to kind of choose your battles on this. But otherwise, going through the menu is pretty simplified. Just push up on the power button, give it a click. Your inputs are there, so your HDMI 1 and 2. It does have a speaker output, though there's no speakers built into this thing. And it's simply you just plug your speakers into it, and you can route your sound, whether it's a Mac or PC, through the HDMI cable, which will put the sound out through the back and to your speakers. But I'm kind of like, well, I mean, that may have been good in the old days, but, you know, I mean, I got a long enough cable, I'll just plug it in the back of my computer. But here we've got our settings for things like brightness, contrast, volume, color temperature. You know, you've got your general language stuff and whatnot. I actually have to take this and turn off power savings. Please be aware that changing this setting component may increase energy. I hope so, because that might actually straighten out some shit stuff too. Okay, so energy savings, we don't need it. We want to suck up the hydro. We want things to work. But you got HDMI Ultra. Well, it's Ultra HD Deep Color. I have that. That's turned on. But the HDR thing, it's kind of interesting because it does actually change your color palette. It really makes things just pop. And there are programs that will take advantage of it, as well as games. Generally, if you launch a game and you get the little HDR icon pop up, then you know it's going to use HDR. And that's actually kind of cool, right, that it can detect it that way. But anyway, so your main picture stuff, you can adjust your picture mode, custom, game adjust, whatever, you know, that sort of thing, color adjust, total reset of the monitor right back to factory settings, start over if you mess something up. You know, turning the power off is as simple as, you know, clicking it and then move the little joystick button to turn the screen off. And then you have picture mode direct. Now this is going to give you things like custom, vivid. Vivid's actually nice. HDR effect, reader. That looks kind of washed out. Cinema, FPS, RTS, color weakness. Yeah, that's kind of gross. sRGB and DCI P3. So that's not bad with the HDR effect, actually. That's pretty popping. Vivid, and of course I'm on custom because I custom did my own. Anyhow, overall, guys, for 370 bucks, now that's Canadian, you can buy the extended warranty. They have a 1 year or a 2 year, and either price is ludicrous. You know, I told them, I said, you know, I mean, I could have bought this at Best Buy if they had any in stock, and if they actually even carried LG. I don't even know if they carry LG. I think they do. But I said, you know, I could have got like a 3-year Geek Squad warranty for less than your 1 year. I kind of, their warranties are funny. It's kind of like my Logic keyboard, my MX keys, 25 bucks on a $169 key or $130 keyboard. But yet, when it comes to a, you know, $370 screen, normally $470, yeah, they want like almost $100 for 2 extra years. Now it does allow you in-store exchange right away, no problem, piece of cake. For those 2 years, or you can get a 1 year for about like $30 cheaper or something. It's just ridiculous. And I'm like, well, you know, I didn't do the extended warranty on my LG, and I've had it for, I guess, better part of the year, and I haven't had any issues. I've never had any bad luck with LG products. So I figured, well, this time I'm not feeding into that warranty, you know, especially for that, you know. A keyboard is one thing, you know, 25 bucks, but, you know, this, I'm not going to worry about it. But I do like the monitor. I do think that 27 inch is going to take some getting used to again. But the resolution is definitely worth it. The hertz, it's still playing games without any flaws. You know, so that's a good thing. I wasn't worried about my video card or my processor having an issue with going 4K. Because when you do go to higher resolutions, it could mean you're replacing your video card. But I got upwards to 12 gigs worth of videos, so I ain't going to worry. And I'm running a Ryzen 7 8-core machine. And yeah, nothing kind of slows this thing down. So, yeah. I did look at monitors that were 4K at, I think it was about 100 and some odd hertz, 120, 130 hertz, but the price tag nearly gave me a coronary. I'm like, not going to happen, you know. But now I would invest in something like a 32-inch curved 4K at maybe, you know, 160, 180 hertz. Now that to me financially would be worth it for having that sort of a display. But I'm still not too sure on the curve thing. I might actually pick up a curved monitor at some point just because I want to try one out. You know, just to see what they're like. But I'm not going to buy no, you know, 4K one. I'll probably buy like a 1080 one and see, okay, is this really game immersion, and is this messing with my eyeballs, and you know, kind of thing. And I just want to see what it's like, and so I can probably give you guys an opinion on that one without a problem too. But I would definitely recommend this if you're looking for 4K. You know, as long as you got at least a 4 gig video card, I don't see any issues. Okay, for gameplay, the 60 hertz is not an issue with the games that I'm playing, Mac or PC. It's running them fine. I like the fact you can hook up 3 computers, right? Same bonus I have in my 32-inch. So that's, again, more beneficial, right? to be able to do that. Oh, wrong mouse. Same keyboard, wrong mouse. Yeah, I think it would definitely be worth you taking a good serious look, especially if you want 4K. But I definitely would recommend a minimum of a 4 gig graphics card, like a separate graphics card, not integrated. Other than the exception of the Mac M1s, of course, they're fine. The M1 Mini, it caps out at 4K anyways on the HDMI. So I figured, well, you know, why not? And I know I'm capped to 75 hertz and I'm getting 60, so 15 hertz really isn't that much difference. Now, the refresh rate on this thing, I believe, was something like about 4 milliseconds, I think. It is an IPS panel display. It does support AMD FreeSync. I'm just trying to... I've got the booklets here. Oh, and by the way, they do give you a DisplayPort cable and an HDMI cable with it, which is fantastic. I didn't need them because I had them from my other monitor. But I just wanted to take a quick look here just to see if they do mention the millisecond refresh here. I was pretty sure it was at least 4 milliseconds or something. I'm running 1 millisecond on my 32, but no, actually it doesn't say on that. What else we got for paperwork? Okay, a little booklet tells us a little bit of stuff about it. Tells us that. Oh, okay, so English. No, it gives us dimensions. It's 4K. It's 60 hertz. They don't actually mention the milliseconds in the book. That's interesting. You know what I'm going to do, guys? I'm going to actually put the link to Staples' website with this monitor. Because I'm surprised it actually doesn't... It doesn't even have it listed on the box. I know I read the website, and I was pretty sure it was about 4 milliseconds, but I may be wrong on that, of course. So my apologies on that one. But yeah, it doesn't say anything anywhere. Nope, it ain't gonna tell us, and neither is the books that come with it. So we'll have to check the website specs because all the tech specs are up there. So anyhow, that's pretty much what I got for you guys. See, it was a good thing I decided to not do an unboxing and this. It's definitely worth the money so far. I feel that, you know, I think it should be the regular price, to be honest, because $369 is actually a really good price for a 60 hertz. If it was 120 hertz, well, then I could see maybe, you know, the regular retail of $470 would be very acceptable. But either way, for running it on your Mac, running it on your PC, you can hook up 3 computers at once and just swap between them. I've been doing that with the 2K LG screen. It's been fantastic. But the clarity on this, oh my goodness, the clarity is so much nicer, especially on the PC side. PCs have always had a washout lag and, you know, other issues, right, with representing text properly. But that's, of course, you know, you're stuck at 1080p, right? For a lot of stuff. And a lot of gamers are kind of hung up on 1080p and massive refresh rates. And it's like, how about you play the game for real? You know what I mean? Like, get to those tighter resolutions, like 2K, 4K, you know, go as high as you possibly can, you know, in resolution. And it tightens things up and makes things so much better. But I think as far as the refresh rate goes, I've had the experience of the 144 at 2K. It's pretty good. You know, I'm not complaining. This at 60 is working really super well. You know, especially on the Mac side with that motorbike game, it's running absolutely flawless now. So I guess sometimes you can have too much power for your own good. I have no idea. But I would put this thing easily. I would say I'm going to give it 4.25 out of 5. Look, it's not perfect. I think on the regular retail of $469, that's a little on the high side, considering it is only 60 hertz. You know, but I mean, that could just be very well that Staples notoriously charges more, kind of like Canadian Tire. They always charge you like, you know, $1 million more for something just because it's Canadian Tire, and they give you money back. You don't get nothing from Staples. Yeah, it is definitely quality screen, and it makes the PC side come that much more to life. And on the Mac side, of course, 2K to 4K. I mean, I don't have to tell you, you know, it's a no-brainer, right? You know, either way. I think the price should stay at $369, and if it did, that would be a perfect price for this thing. Okay. But otherwise, if you got to pay the little extra and you want it, well then, that's what you do. You go out and you buy it. I like the very thin border. There's like less than 1/4 of an inch actual black border here, and it's virtually invisible. Like it just kind of hides itself, kind of thing, right? For the most part. But yeah, lightweight is another thing. It is lightweight. Now, you don't have a lot of options for tilting, though. If you tilt forward, that's all you get. If you tilt backwards, you know, that's the most you're going to expect. The nice thing, though, is the picture doesn't change. Because some screens, it can really monkey with the picture graphics. This actually isn't. It's staying exactly the same in any position, which is also very nice. You know, and even when you look at my wallpaper, which, you know, some guys may like, some don't, right? But anyways, if you look at the wallpaper here on the PC side, we'll give you guys a couple seconds to take a good look, and then we're going to switch to the Mac side. So on the Mac side, it's a little bit different, but the settings are also different. So I'm going to have to play around with the settings a little bit, just to see what I like the best. But the clarity of everything, the black levels are beautiful in this thing. You know, it's really, really super nice. So, but anyways, it is up to you if you want to go buy one. Like I said, I'll leave the link for Staples in the video description below if you want to take a look at one. I definitely think they're worth getting, especially while they're still on sale. So if you are in Canada, by the way, you've got until, I believe it's the 11th when the sale is off. So if you want one of these, this exact monitor, for $369, I believe it was, I paid for it, then I would definitely snag one before they go back up to regular retail, because then you're paying another $100. So, but in the meantime, thank you guys so much for being patient with me for this video. I know it was a little on the long side, but hey, you guys know I love detail, and I wanted to show you the Mac side and the PC side, same video, right? And then you get a taste of both worlds. But anyways, that's it. We're done. We're gone. See ya!